Well, hello, good morning out there. It is 8:05 this Tuesday morning. We did start off this morning with some fog, and notice now clouds are in place. That fog, though, did make for some slick conditions on the roadways. So I don't know if you're already at the office, if you're just about to leave your house. Roadways are damp. They're slick out there, so it's probably going to slow you down just a little bit. I know we've had multiple problems out there on the roadways. We are not tracking any additional rain, but because we're still so saturated from the rain from yesterday, we could easily see just a little spotty sprinkle out there. So if you have to use those windshield wipers, it should be just for a short duration. That's only because of still how saturated we are and the roadways are still really damp. Visibilities, as far as the fog goes, still down to 4 miles in Conroe, 3 in Huntsville, 4 in College Station, 3 in Brenham. Areas south of I-10, not bad. Galveston, cloudy skies, but visibility is not really impacting your commute. Similar there for Angleton, Pearland, looking good. Both airports this morning, not enough to ground planes, but it may slow you down for the morning commute. Live look outside in Galveston. This is pretty much what everybody's seeing. It's kind of a gloomy start to your Tuesday morning. Temperatures area wide in the 40s. So I think a lot of you are going to walk outside and say, oh, it's kind of chilly out here. This is, think, 20, maybe even 25 degrees warmer than how we're going to be Friday morning. Just to put that in perspective, you're going to need your jacket today, but think about that Friday morning. So as far as your day part planner, clouds, that fog is in place this morning through the lunchtime hour and your afternoon. Clouds remain in place. Temperatures stay in the 50s as well. So this afternoon, we're not expecting a big temperature spread, and that's because the clouds stay socked in. There's not much to really warm us up out there. So 55 later today, clouds are in place, going to keep and trap those temperatures basically where they are this morning. But let's talk more about Friday. That's when our coldest temperatures are expected to arrive. So to put things in perspective, we're going to get into Thursday because tomorrow we're going to be pushing repeat from today. So by 8 o'clock Thursday evening, temperatures are set to still be in the 40s. Now notice 21 in Dallas, 17 in Lubbock. Look at Denver, 12 below zero. So this is that Arctic air that's going to be on the move from Thursday afternoon and evening, taking some of our 60s down to the 40s and probably a couple hour time span there. Thursday 9:30, we dip below the freezing point, 16 in Dallas. These are actual air temperatures, still 14 in Denver. Overnight, as we get into Friday morning, this is 5:30 Friday morning, temperatures set to be in the 20s, potentially teens. And that's why we say if there are wind gusts upwards of 35, 40 to 45 miles per hour Friday morning, that will be enough north wind to make temperatures feel a good 10 to 15 degrees colder. So if you're looking at that 21 saying 10 degrees colder, we could be feeling temperatures around 11, maybe 5 degrees, single digit readings here in Houston. Take a look, Dallas at 14, Lubbock at 13, even San Antonio sitting at 23. So all across the state of Texas, we're all dealing with the exact same thing. In fact, potentially colder areas north of us. And look at Denver, still sitting at 13 below zero. So really bitterly serious cold Arctic air in place. 20 degrees even by Friday, 8:30. Not much of a change as we get into Friday afternoon. This is 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. 29 in Houston. We're staying below freezing potentially as late Thursday night until maybe Saturday afternoon. So all day Friday, temperatures are below the freezing point, and that's actual air temperatures, not even factoring in the winds. 23 Dallas. I noticed 13 Garden City, now single digit readings there for Denver. As we get into Saturday, Christmas Eve, waking up 4 a.m. Christmas Eve morning, we're still in the 20s, potentially teens, and that's because winds will back off. So we won't be worried about the wind chills come Saturday morning, but that actual air temperature will still be about the same as what we're going to be dealing with Friday as well. So you've got 2 mornings back to back, potentially teens and low 20s. Similar there for Dallas as well, and even into Lubbock. Now, you're looking at those temperatures well below the freezing point. And you say, what about the chance of precipitation? Let me show you a big, whiteout blanket of blizzard conditions expected from the plains through the Great Lakes. But most of that energy, with most of the moisture, wants to hang well to our north and maybe even east. I mean, potentially Oklahoma or even north of. So at this point, Dallas, Fort Worth, North Texas, not even expected to tap into some of this moisture. Most of forecasts staying dry. Now, that's the tail end of the front. So That's where the 5–10% of uncertainty comes, where if that little bit of moisture would hang back, temperatures are well cold enough to support any transition. But it just doesn't look like it's the case. Most of that is going to stay to our north and to our east, right through the Great Lakes, and then move into the East Coast. So if you're traveling at all, think this is your Friday, the 23rd, before Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. This is what's going to be all the weather-related delays. Here locally, it's going to be the cold and the wind, but if you're trying to fly either East Coast or West Coast, there are going to be plenty of areas where they're dealing with whiteout conditions because of snow. Even though we're not expecting that, you know how it is. It's just kind of a ripple effect on the airport. So heads up, if you're trying to fly Friday, I think it's going to be really tough out there. Maybe some improvements come Saturday. But still plenty of areas dealing with a lot of snow. Look at these low temperatures. So today we're starting off 40s. Tomorrow will be about the same. Wednesday temperatures the same. Thursday we keep it, I would say, mild, 40s to 50s to 60s, even probably through about 1–2 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. And then that's it. Forget about it. Quick dive into the teens and 20s by Friday morning. We push repeat again for Saturday. Sunday, Christmas Day, even though we start off in the 20s to low 30s, Christmas morning, at least by Christmas afternoon, we'll be climbing to the mid-40s. And look at this warming trend all next week. I mean, to think we're going to go from teens Friday and Saturday up to overnight lows back to the 50s and 60s and potentially highs by the end of next week, returning to the 70s. So wow, what a quick recovery. Today and tomorrow about the same. Tomorrow is our first official day of winter. It's going to be feeling like it, but it's really going to be feeling like it come Friday morning. So do prepare your house. If you have not winterized your home, if you haven't covered any of your pipes, if you haven't walked around, surveyed that, looked inside as well, we did a really great job explaining what to do with your home on KHOU.com. And you can read those bullet points of what to do with exposed pipes or indoor pipes with your water. If you're going to be leaving your home, or maybe you're welcoming guests in your home, there's different ways to handle those scenarios. So go to KHOU.com and they list those out pretty easy there of what you should be doing. Thursday afternoon and into Friday morning, that's when those winds pick up behind the cold front that's bringing that Arctic air. And that's why temperatures, not only teens, but those single-digit readings potentially when we're talking about wind chills. And then by Sunday, thankfully, Christmas Day, hopefully that's when maybe we can get outside and enjoy outside just a little bit, because, it is going to be really, really cold really quickly. I was going to take you a national view here since we're live. I don't get to do this on TV and take a little extra time. Let me show you the national view of these temperatures. I didn't get to show this earlier, so let me walk you through it. So, in fact, let me dial this back a little bit more just to give you an idea of how quickly the cold air arrived. I'm going to set this back. Let's get back. There we go. This is what I wanted to show. Because we're going to see temperatures today and tomorrow in the 50s, but watch what happens. So notice Denver still at 41, but you see that 9 below in Bismarck. So this is when that cold Arctic air starts to dive. Denver down to 0. And again, getting into where our temperatures are in the 20s, 14 in Dallas. And this spreads not only across portions, of the Midwest, now pushing into the Southeast region, 8 degrees in Nashville, but almost coast to coast at this point. It's looking like a really, really cold upcoming weekend. So that's Friday, your Christmas Eve, and then into your Christmas Day. So 6 a.m. Christmas Eve morning, still looking at 20s pretty much across the state, 8 below 0 at Omaha. Denver's back into the 20s, but notice single-digit readings there, even pushing into portions of the Southeast. And then as we get into Christmas morning, okay, and Christmas afternoon, that's when we'll go at least above freezing into the mid-40s. It looks like much of the West Coast region will start to warm, and we stay that way to welcome in the new year. So if we can get through this upcoming weekend, really conditions start to improve as we approach New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Other than that, we've got a list on what to do for your home on KHOU.com. We'll continue to keep you posted right here.